Good, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eddie's Tackle Shop. I mean, you know, I've got all sorts of stuff always all on the deck and just making sure that I get rigged up, but you know, this is what it takes. I like to be a versatile fisherman. I fish for a lot of species of fish, and no matter where I am, depending on the conditions, I like to be able to match the hatch. So that's why I have so many baits ready to go. I also have a collection of baits from past tournaments and things like that, and they really work. And so that's probably the reason why I have so much stuff on deck. Fabulous. Let's put that all away, and I'm going to show you the baits that we're going to use up the creek today, and I'm positive these things are going to work. So let me just put these back inside, pack it up, and then we'll get on to that. We'll have a talk about our tactics getting up this creek today. I'm trying to keep everything in the best order I can, so I know where it is when I need to get to it. Sometimes you need a quick bait change, and you want to know where stuff is. So let's just go through and dive into what we're doing up the creek today. So I'm going to be going for estuary perch and bass, and I'm going to be using a variety of different baits. SpinnerBait, definitely. This is a custom bait that has proved itself to me. I've used it a lot, and it's time and time again it proves itself. Right, so here's my spinnerbait. It's got a willow leaf on it. I've put a dropper hook on there because a lot of times they grab it and they miss the spinnerbait. And this is just a little beetle spin, which I've actually changed the blade on because it works much better. Use nail polish on the top just to keep it nice and black like that. Now here's the knot that you're going to put a spinnerbait on with. So very easy. You go through the main eye, put it through over there. Okay. Hanging on the main eye, then just twist it 6 or 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in the beginning there'll be a loop there. See that? Put your line through that loop, and now you've looped it in, and then re-loop that back again through that. Now you've got a nice knot. Wet it, and that thing there, after all my years of fishing, and I love spinnerbaits, will absolutely hold, and there's no way it'll break, you know, and it needs to be as so in order for us to catch bass today. Trim it off again. I like to leave a little tiny piece there, which is kind of cool. You can see how I leave that little piece. That's just for a little bit of slide maybe, so I make sure I get the fish. There's our spinnerbait ready to go. I'm going to spray it up with a bit of spray just to make sure. There it is. Just to spray it up, make sure the scents are off, and that's going to catch us bass today. We're almost ready to go up the creek, so let's do it. So our campaign begins at the sort of incoming, almost top of the tide, and we're going to work this water. I've got a couple of hours to spend up here. Got to make sure we get it right, so we don't want to get caught up here and we can't get back down again. As you remember this morning, I did get stuck on the way in, so I've got to be very careful on the way out. I've heard about this place, I've heard about the fish here. I've never fished it, so it's kind of exciting because I love fishing a new stretch of water and just breaking it down and getting some feel. And I believe that the bass would be further down as we were coming up as well, but I've decided to start right at the top, and then I'll work it down later on. Really just having a prod around. This is the first look at a new stretch of water for me. Watercolor here is very clear, so not as used to fishing clear conditions on the Hawkesbury River system, so this is really interesting. Just trying to find a nice rhythm now. You know, it's a different waterway, so each waterway that you fish needs to definitely have a different style technique of fishing. Clearer water like this needs to be very slow. I'm hoping to find a reaction bite or two. The water looks very interesting. It's got a drop off right on that bank there, and I would imagine that's only up when the tide comes up. So I mean, this water is even clear enough to use some small crankbaits and so on. I may have a go at that, but I'd like to see a fish first, you know, just see if they are active before I start changing up. You know, got to give it some time with a bait like this. This is a great bait to test the waters out, you know, great bait to cover a lot of water and to really probe for fish, and generally bass love this bait, so you can get at least a follow or something like that, and that usually gives it away. And very much trying to keep some nice tight casts, but again I'm looking for a fish just to come out and have a look at the bait, so I can have the confidence that we're in the right place and doing the right thing. There we go. All right, well that was beautiful. Not the biggest of fish, but it's a fish nevertheless in the water there. We got one. And it was 10 minutes into starting out, which is really good. It's not the biggest one ever, but most certainly it does count, because it shows us that there's bass in the water, and threw that into the bank there and a number of them came out. So I'm going to go back and have another throw at that. There's a start to what I hope will be a great day and a great show. Little guy, we need some bigger ones than that, but it does show that they wanted that, so that is a good thing. Let's get it back in the water and get some more. Nice. Definitely great to see that little catch come in so nice and soon. So I have seen another small fish follow the bait, so already my confidence is really soaring, because that is great news. That is great news. Just work this water, and you know, that means there's fish in here, which is good. Now we can just play the numbers, see if we can get some big ones. Slowed my cadence right down today. Oh, there's a fish right behind it. Just slowing it down. Again, like before, we got a little bit of this mucky stuff in the water. Tends to be quite good at times. I'm just going to keep on following it. So I don't actually think I need to get it too near the bank all the time. I can fish it out of the way as well. Just getting a feel for it. Fishing out and away as well. I'm just going to do that because I reckon the fish are coming from down deep. If they see that, they're going to hit it. So it's quite nice, because look at that whole little section to fish. It's just exciting because you can really break it down and cast across it and then cast into it. Just move your bait, trying to get that nice moving bait every time. And of course there's another bank on the other side which I'll fish on the way back, or even on the way up, depending on what it looks like. And then look at that, you get it closer to these structures just to see if anyone's home. I mean, there's a tree there, and that often means that there's somebody home. So past the tree, bring it across. Right, and then just fish back there again. Look at that. See, I'm just going to fish back there again, just in case. Alright, well, let's keep on moving. Keep on delivering the bait. Ultimately, that's what it's all about, playing the numbers. And I think this thing's going to get smashed. Prodding along here just nicely, and I'm being very methodic in my approach, you know, just getting every little nook and cranny that I can find, overhangs, things like that. And really practicing my length as well, because if this is going to go for the day, I want to get as accurate as I can and not miss those targets. It's very important to hit those targets, because you could put the bait, if you do it correctly, right on the head of a fish, and that's how you get bites. So yes, little bass coming out of it. Let's see if we can get that again. It wasn't a big one, but maybe mama's around. Lots of little guys around, that's for sure. Looks very good though, looks very good. Sun, shade, moving debris. all the right recipes for a fish to take the line. And keep the bait in good nick as well, so that when that good fish does take, we get it. Feather touching it in the water as well. There we go. There's another one. It's not very big though. Oh, this one looks like a little tailor. No, it's a little bass. Oh, it's a tailor. Tailor, there you go. So there's food for the bass. And look at that tailor going to take a spinnerbait. It's pretty unbelievable, isn't it? Anyways, let's get that off. In the mouth too, look at that. And they can go back. What we need is the bass that wants to eat that. That's what we need. Once in a while, just fire it up the bank to get all the line. This is brand new line I put on here yesterday evening, so I made sure today that everything was going to be absolutely spot on for this event. Going into the unknown, but if I'm going to go in, I'm going to go armed appropriately. Beautiful spot up ahead. Playing those numbers, everybody, playing those numbers. See, that cast there is the one I want to get rid of, because just catching the top of that leaf before it goes, and that can really mess things up. You got to hit your targets. So a little bit of a drain in the background there, and you want to, there we go, another fish. Oh, this is a tailor again. Look at these tailor, absolutely nailing that hook again in the mouth. Second one. Wow. Pretty interesting. It's not what we're after. Oh, big mama can come and take it, that'll be fine. It's kind of interesting so far though. Now I think a topwater bait will work here quite nicely as well. I may give that a go. There's plenty of work to be done today. I'm just looking up the bank there, and I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal. Look at that. It's just unbelievable. It's just so exciting to see all of that. And we've got to get in and out though on time, so I may be able to speed up a little bit and just prod a little harder, since we know that there is bass in here. Might have been a bass under that log. I had a couple of takes. Come out once and that's it. They don't come out again. Alright, play the numbers. Play the numbers. That's what it's all about. Just keep playing the numbers. And that's how you get your fish. Beautiful looking understructures here. Right in the back there. There we go, got bites again. Don't know what they were. They were tailor or they were bass, but I'm getting bites more and more as I'm moving up here. Oh, there's a big fish of some sort. What is that? There's a big eel there. See if I can get him. A giant eel. There we go. That's a better fish. There we go. That's a better fish, that one. Good guy. Alright, there we go. This is a good one, this one. That's one that we want. Alright, that's a better fish. There you go. That's what we're after, everybody. And beautiful take, and there it is. You know, another beautiful fish just moving up the bank, fishing methodically, and you know, and finally getting it. Now I'm pitching it right into the back to get these bass to want to bite. So what a fantastic catch, really happy with that. And I'll get this hook out and we'll get him back in the water. Fantastic, really cool fish. Again, just getting the hook out of the mouth now. And catch and release on the show. What a beautiful fish, stunning species, and a great specimen. All right, back in the water she goes. Thank you. And away. All good. Let's continue. I find this quite interesting. We've seen this scenario before with all of this scum line on the top, and I actually think that this is a contributing factor to a lot of catches here in the Hawkesbury River. I think the fish stage underneath this and they're looking up, and then they see the bait come along, and obviously it intrigues them. But have a look at the little section at the back there, and I'm just going to put the bait right in there and work it under that mat. See, I'm trying my best to do so, and I've had some bites like that. That's the reason why I'm doing it. So just again, just under those mats. There's a lot of debris as well, but if you can keep it underneath, you know, you've got a chance, and it does definitely get the fish interested. Again, you have a look at that, the back there, really mucky, but look at the sticks and everything else there. And this is how I'm getting these fish to bite, is I'm putting it in there, and they actually, I'm putting it right in front of their face a lot of the time, and it looks to me like they're reaction striking it. There's a shot right there, right there by that log, and that's how I'm finding those bites at the minute. Following the bank now, just on that tide. As that starts dropping, it looks like it's changing, although the wind is blowing down from the southwesterly position, and it's coming down the valley, but still 2 p.m. is my absolute get out of the creek deal. That's the last chance I have, so I've still got an hour or two to go, and in the meantime I'm just going to follow my strong side down the bank. So strong side being easy for me to cast this side, and that's what I did on the way up. It's a nice way to really pick away at each spot as you go over it, so and really trying to keep it close and in the shade, and you know, really just looking for a bite. So there we go, we had a bite there, another bite, but it looks like it could be a tailor. Dropout tides, as we known from previous shows, have been pretty good, so that's when I catch most of my fish. I'm hoping it's the case today. We came in, we got 1 or 2 just to get the show going. Now what we're hoping to do is really find these fish that's set up now to take the dropping tide as it comes out. So it's still early days, we've got a long way to go, we've got a lot of fishing to do, and 1 or 2 more fish would absolutely make it worthwhile for today's efforts. Beautiful place though, absolutely stunning. It's just it's sensational. I have it all to myself. The risks to that are, if I break down or something, I'm obviously stuck out here, but you know, that's why we maintain the boat the best we can, so we can keep it going all the time, and so it doesn't break down. That's basically what the deal is. So it allows us to come to these beautiful places that are just Garden of Eden style places, and get to fish away from the riffraff and the people, keeping that bait really tight, and every little corner and structure is a prospect, and I'm trying to get right up to that bank in these little holes at the back and things that look interesting. The takes that I've got so far have been really right into stuff, so really just trying to keep that as the main priority at this stage, keeping it nice and deep inside, right up to that bank, and then bringing it out, and hopefully, you know, I'm going to put one in close enough to one that's situated in the back of the structure, and it comes out and hits it. So really just working right now. Really couldn't put it in better places. It's just every cast needs to count. They're right in the meat, right in the money, every single time. That's what you got to do. And I'm quite short to my targets now, but that's the way you do it when you're going for estuary perch and bass. You know, you can get quite close to your targets, which gives you a much better leverage over the fish when you finally do get it.
You can see how close I'm getting to the targets, right on them, overhanging structures, shade, and right in there. As you can see, I'm really pushing the boundaries here to try to get this bite, in the hope that there's a fish tucked up inside there and it's just sitting, hanging out, and then I put the bait just close enough to it and it reaction strikes it. Definitely much quieter up here in the fresher water than it is sort of in the brackish water, so interesting. You know, I got my bites further down when I came on the way up, so that is interesting, very interesting. Fresh water, although it's not fully fresh because it's full of mullet, but the fresher it's gotten, the less action I've seen. So is that a time of day thing, or does it have to do with the type of water? That we're about to find out as we head back towards the salt. And we fish these areas very methodically, really getting in there. Look at that, I'm just getting right up to it, and it looks so similar to a lot of other places that I've fished in this river system. So you learn from those, you hope they're gonna sort of be the same, but not necessarily. I mean, I would call that as a fish right there. That looks so good. Brand new line, and unfortunately I'm having a few little overcasts here and there just because I think the bait that I'm using is quite light. It's funny how just an open patch of water like that can get the fish. Just really working it and just moving with the current now, but quite fast on the electric motor. Just working this bank, really getting it in every little spot I can find. Nice looking stuff coming up ahead here. I got the feeling that I'm going to get a bite and I'm going to catch some fish now. I start getting that feeling right before, and then I get a good fish. So I've got that feeling right all of a sudden. That's great. Great. And that's a bass every day of the week, that one. See how they got me working here though, and I'm being so methodical with this. I mean, look at even the way the bait is landing in the water. It's just so smooth and not too much splash. And this up here looks really good. And I'm going to fish it properly. That little hole in the back there, that's a bite. There's a bite on the edge there. So really got to make sure that the bait doesn't hit the water too hard. There's beautiful presentation, beautiful. Now slowly through there, and I wish it would just stop. And this one over here, just behind there, there's a nice, just you see they're sitting underneath this mat over here for sure. That's where they usually are. And they wait inside there for, as predators, they wait for their bait fish to come past, and they dart out from there and they whack the bait. Man, I'm getting bass following again, following as this tide has got still. I've got to get down this river sometime, but you know, they've been following but not committing. You know, it's quite strange. They really are interested in the bait. A few seconds ago there's a massive splash right here. It's always just teasing me, and I told you they're going for it on the out tide, and I got fish coming out of this bait now on the dropping tide. Almost got aggressive on it. They came out, they were good sized ones too. Came and visited it twice, arcing its back at it, so that's just different. They most certainly are a little bit more aggressive on this dropping tide. That fish was really looking for that bait. Wow. Came up for the second time, went had a look at it, went down, came back up and had a look at it again, went back down. But I mean, like, arched back, ready to attack. So what I have noticed all of a sudden is there's a lot of little fry in the water, and I've actually seen a few scampers from fry, but just in two places right there, and two fish coming out as that tide is dropping. perfect little lay down here. There'll be a fish in here. I mean, the way they're starting to react because this tide is churning, they definitely like it on the drop. Getting super aggressive now. Look at that little hole right there. Look at that. I've been casting so much now that I'm putting it right on target, which is really great. And it looks to me like these fish are starting to set up for the drop, for the dropping tide. It really does. There we go. Yep. There we go. Yep. That's what we're looking for. Yes, 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 yes. Beauty. They're right tight into all the get it up. Oh, there's a beauty, that one. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. There's a beauty. And I'm starting to get some really good bites. I'm fishing really tight, and I'm watching them come out, and they're actually hitting it as they're coming out. So look at that in the mouth. Got that spinnerbait. Literally, this last little section that I've been doing here, I've had several takes as I've come through, and they're sitting underneath all of this as the outgoing tide's going. So there's another beautiful bass, and that's from the Hawkesbury River, not even half an hour from my house. So it's, you know, the salt water's that way, behind me is the fresh water, and there it is. There is your bass. Beautiful. All right, let me put him back in the water. Stunning. Good catch. So yeah, just flipping in and out really close and just pulling that bait through, and they're sitting right underneath all of this structure in the shade. I've had some really good takes. I missed a few, and I've decided to come back up and risk it and just keep on fishing. It's just having such a good time with these fish, and got a few catches on board now, so I want to keep that going. There were two fish on the way that I did not hook up with. I then flipped, after the spinnerbait went in, they went for the spinnerbait, I then flipped in a little grub, the black grub, and they took that as well, but they didn't get the hook. So there's two of them sitting there that I didn't get, and I'm kind of sort of just like fishing backwards, you know, just sort of going with the current, or even if the nose is into this way, I'm sort of just flipping back as we go. But these little shady spots like this inside is where they are. Now the water's just perfect at the minute. I wouldn't have come back up obviously if it wasn't, and I just missed a few places. So this is all I'm doing. I'm flipping it in and into that shady area, and I'm just sort of working it out, a couple little bumps to get it going, and I'm just working it in here, and they're in that back area there where the shade is. So that's what I'm doing right now, and yeah, I'm starting to get some catches. Really good. I'm going back up once in a while too, you know, just going back and redoing a few little parts, a nice little pullback, and then nice and slow away. And there you go, right there, look at that. There it is. So that's what's happening. And I mean, I just fished that spot, and there you go again. Beautiful fish this time. This one looks like a nice big, another nice bass. And as I was saying, you know, these fish are sitting underneath there, and it's just the right time. This is a really good size one. I hope I don't break my rod. But there you go. What a beauty again. And this is one that I fished, and I'd fished an area, and then I went past it and I fished back up again, and it came out and it got the bait. So look at the size of these guys. They're beautiful, man. And literally, you know, the salt water is not that far off here, but because of the king tide, it's so fresh. They're setting up underneath there. Gorgeous fish once again. And finally we got on it. You know, we learned a lot coming up, and I found the bait that was working for today. Every day it'll be a different bait, of course, but today it was that SpinnerBait, and it's one that I've modified, and that's catching the bass. And there's another one, ladies and gentlemen. Loving it, loving it. Every fish is just beautiful, and it's turning into be a fantastic day out. Let me get that one back in and get back out there. All right, yeah. Well, everybody, that's a wrap. And guys, thanks very much for watching. I'm back out of here now, and what a great trip, what a great place. Please subscribe, stay tuned. I've got plenty more shows to come, and I can't wait to see you all on the next show. So see you then. Thanks for watching. Cheers.